And if there is anybody that's just signing on, if you could type into the chat box your company name, if you are an existing business, or if you are just now starting your thought process, that would be helpful. Can help us direct the presentation in the right area. Oh, good morning, Seth. Glad to see you. We have a flooring company. I happen to know him, so I haven't typed all the information in there. But Maria, our one person that responded, he has a flooring and tile company and is just kind of getting started. He's under the construction business. So just getting going, probably the perfect candidate for this webinar.
Perfect. So he hasn't opened.
Correct.
Okay.
And we will give it just a couple more minutes here before we get started. We should get started right at 12 o'clock sharp. And if there's anybody else that's just signing in now, if you could type into the chat box your company name and if you are an existing business or just starting out in your thought process. We have another Juniper and Lane Notary Public and wedding officiant in business for 2.5 years. Great, thank you. And I will get started in just a minute here. If anybody else is just signing on, if you could type into the chat box your company name, let us know if you are an existing business or if you are just starting your thought process. That would be helpful, and I will get started. So good afternoon. My name is Leola Carter, and I am your host for today's webinar. I am a SCORE mentor in the Minnesota division, where we have over 90 volunteers serving both Manatee and Sarasota counties. I'm also on the education committee and excited to bring to you today's presentation on getting from heck no to finally yes with Michael Fluker and Maria Evie. But first, a little bit about us at SCORE. We are a nationwide nonprofit organization that is an independent part of the Small Business Administration. What SCORE can do for you? We provide free mentoring and educational services. We can help in all stages of your business, right from that initial first thought all the way up through where it is time to sell. You can find us at score.org/Minnesota, where you can request a mentor or you could apply to be one. And today would not be possible if it weren't for our sponsors, such as Financial Access Federal Credit Union, today's presenter, and other community partners that we have listed here. And now I believe it is time to introduce our two presenters from Financial Access Federal Credit Union, Michael Fluker and Maria Evie, our financial wellness experts. Welcome, Michael and Maria. And then I am going to stop sharing my screen, Maria, and you can begin.
Okay, thank you.
And just one more thing while she's starting to share her screen, all participants today will receive a copy of the slides and the video presentation in their email. And we usually have that to you within a day or two after today's presentation. So just wanted to let you know. And if you do have questions, participants, as we go, if you could type those into the Q&A, then Michael and Maria will try to get those answered for you by the time we're wrapping it up.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Getting from Heck No to Maybe and finally to Yes. We are happy to be here just to talk a little bit about business lending and credit building. I know that for many businesses, whether you are thinking of starting a business, or you're in the startup stage, or you've been in business for a few years, the prospect of going to a bank or a lending institution to try to get financing for your business, for operating capital or building the building that you're in, a lot of times that can be a daunting task, and you wonder, how do I do this? So it's gonna be a short presentation to just talk about and give you some pointers of how to attack going after a loan, because I understand, and my role with the credit union, I work with the small businesses, and I try to find out when a business first calls me, where are they? What stage is your company? What would you need financing for? You know, some of the questions that we ask in the beginning: do you have a business plan? Have you worked with a SCORE mentor to help you put a plan together and a budget to better understand what you anticipate your business is going to need in financial for financial support within the next 3 to 5 years? But for us, and when I receive a call, it's really understanding your business and your business plan to envision what kind of business you're going to have. Do you have a business that's really going to make it in our environment, in our community? Will you be bringing a proposal to us that's strong enough that I can take to our lending committee? And what I do is I pitch your business to them, and I try to talk them into giving you this money. So what we'll talk about a little bit, I'll just give a few pointers of what we do as an organization, but I'd like to, when I'm giving this, it may be our organization, but you may be going somewhere else, right? To get your loan, you may already have somebody you're working with your finances. So I'm hoping that this presentation will help you prepare when you're presenting your loan, because you have to think about it like this. You're making a pitch, just like when the business owners go to Shark Tank, right? And they're trying to find a partner. They're pitching their business, but the investors have to believe in your concept and your business plan, have to believe that your product or what you're making, there is a demand for it, and that your business is going to be able to sustain and be able to make it. Because let's be real here, at the end of the day, the bank wants to get paid back for the money that you borrowed. So it's a partnership, but the bank has to think of their interest when they're giving money to a new business. So loan types, just a little bit of the different loan types that we do, but I think this is universal. A lot of our financial partners in the community and other banking institutions, when you're looking for a type of loan, you look at it. Do you need operating capital? And when you think about operating capital, do you need somebody to help you get started, or you may be a business already established? Do you need the operating capital to expand your business? Another piece of operating capital, are you growing your staff? Do you need money to be able to expand your marketing efforts? We're a digital society? Do you need to be able to take some money to get your computer equipment to work better? Just giving examples of operating capital. A lot of times we see operating capital for more so of existing companies that want to expand their company. They already have a track record to show their company is successful, doing well, but they want to grow, right? But to be able to grow, you need some help. You come in for a operating capital loan. A lot credit cards, business credit cards, when you're a newer company that you don't have the history, you haven't borrowed money before, a credit card's a good way to start your business credit history. You're able to use the credit cards and, you know, purchase supplies that you may need for your company, and then you can pay them off. And you always have like a line, it's a line of credit. Interest rates are higher on credit cards, so that's something that you have to, you know, make sure that you're going to be able to afford the interest rate that you're going to pay on a credit card. Also, if you're borrowing money through a credit card, have a plan that you're going to pay it off, because if that debt stays on there, it becomes, and Michael will talk about, you know, this is where businesses get in trouble. They max out their credit cards. So if you max out your credit cards and you're going to go and then a year later apply for an operating capital loan, that's where you may run into an issue, because your credit score may not be what you need it to be at. Consumer debt restructuring. This is where we at the credit union, we focus a lot helping small businesses with looking at their current debt structure. Do we need to consolidate some debt? So you don't have that high debt to income. So that a lot of times a business will say, before I get my operating capital loan or my equipment loan, I need to look at, because I may need to restructure some of my consumer debts to be able to have more fluid cash available to be able to qualify for a loan. And then the business debt restructuring is the same thing as consumer and business that we look at. Truck and car loans, those are also loans that we do at the credit union, but just know when you're getting those, you know, you need to have the business liability insurance. You need to look at the usage of those trucks and cars, because a lot of times the interest rate that you may get on a business truck loan is going to determine the high usage of the vehicle that you're getting. And I don't know if anybody has any questions. If you do, as I'm going through this, please put them in, because I'm happy to answer them as I'm presenting to you. Our business loan underwritings, and I know that a lot of companies have heard that we are participating with the SSBCI program. That is through the U.S. They've changed. It used to be Enterprise Florida, and now they are the Commerce, Florida Commerce Center. And these are small loans that are provided to small businesses to help them get started. For us, we have business loan underwriting guidelines, and what we've done, because for a business, a lot of financial institutions want to see a higher credit score, because we are participating with the state, and because we are part of a CDFI grant that we received, we're able to look at credit scores at 620. Now, don't get confused because you have a 620 that you automatically you get approved, because if we see that there's foreclosures, you haven't paid certain bills, that's all going to go into the underwriting, and the underwriters are going to look at that. Sometimes you're a smaller company, you do not have established credit, or because you started your credit and you have a lot of credit cards and you're using them, you may be at a 620, but you pay your bills on time. you still are credit worthy, but we can tell that it's because you've had to, you know, get credit cards, you've had to go into some debt because you've started a business. We're going to take that in consideration when we're looking at providing a business loan for you. We ask for $4,000 a month revenue, and I'd like to explain, because I get a lot of questions. Well, we're a new business, we're not making $4,000 a month. You know, I thought you're helping small businesses, but you're still requiring revenue. So let me explain that. We want to, and this is why your business plan is very important, because we're going to be able to see you have a plan, you're going to make this much money. We know that you're going to invoice, you have so many customers, you know, those are things that we're going to look at. We ask for that $50,000 a year, depending, because we want to make sure that you're, like I said in the beginning, we have to make sure that we're going to get paid back. Every financial institution, they do not want loans to default. And for us as a credit union, we have to have some assurance that the business is going to be able to repay their debt. So this is a minimum requirement that we have put in there. Saying that, again, we're going to look at your business plan. We're going to look at where you're at. You know, there's been times that it's been a little bit less and we have approved it. But it just depends on how strong your portfolio looks. We ask for a year, a minimum 1 year in business. That's also because we have to have some history. We have to see that you're up and running. We want to know that you have some customers that's going to be bringing income in and you're going to continue to grow. We have to that for our underwriting guideline. It's something that is very important to us. So that minimum requirement is something that we do stick with. And here's the business plan and budget in 3-year projections. This is required. We have to know that you really understand the business that you're working in, you're putting together. We need to understand that you know exactly your target market, where are your customers. We need to understand that you have done that market research and the business is going to grow. So that business plan and that budget is very important, because through that you may be able to talk through that $4,000 a month, that 620 credit score. That business plan is what provides a loan officer with a very strong case to go to the business committee or the lending committee and really talk about your business. Because when you're talking, if you call me, I'm going to listen to you, I'm going to learn about your business. But we have financial people in the back that are underwriters. They're very black and white. They want to look at numbers, they want to look at projections. So I have to be able to present something very solid to back up my pitch to the business committee or the loan committee, wherever you're going, what they call them. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. If not, I'm going to move on. Business qualifications. So related to our organization, so we're a credit union, and credit unions are based on memberships, and membership is based in a geographical location that you can participate and be part of a credit union. With us, you need to be 25 miles from our credit union for us to be able to provide a business loan to you. There's another way that you can become a member, is that we have what we call a select employer group, and that's where your organization becomes an employer group under our credit union. And because we have ATMs and we're a participating lender across the country, you do not have to be within that 25 miles if you become what we call, and I'll abbreviate it, a SEG group with us. that's the other way that you can become a member of the credit union if you become a said, we call it an employer partner with us, and we want you to be a partner, not only to get a business loan, but we would like that you become a partner. Your employees then can join the credit union because they come in under your business. But that's a different presentation, but I wanted to bring that up. If your business is located within a CDFI designated area, there is a website that you can, and we can provide. If your business is within a CDFI, you're able to apply for a loan with us. Now, you still have to become a member of the credit union. The other thing is that on our website, we have business services. And when you go to business services, because you want business lending, our very first page has a business referral form. That business referral form gives me some information about your business, and I can maybe learn a little bit before I return your phone call. So you don't maybe have to explain every single thing to me, but this business referral form is very helpful in letting us know, how long have you been in business? What's the range of the loan that you're going to want? Who referred you? If SCORE referred you, we're able to see in this form that you came by way of SCORE. So that's one way. If you want to get in touch with me, fill out that form and I will receive it. So the last slide that I have is a pitch for a business loan officer, and I'm gonna just pretty quickly just share a couple things with you. I get a lot of phone calls that somebody is calling me for a business loan, and the first thing that they say to me, I already know that they have no money, they've gone to other banks, they've been denied, they've hit roadblocks. So when you call in a loan officer, have your business plan in hand. Remember, you're pitching your business to that loan officer. You're not asking for a loan. You're building a partnership, a relationship with that loan officer, and you want that loan officer to believe in you and believe in the business that you have or a business that you're setting up. Start the conversation positive, talk about your business, what you want to accomplish, what are your goals for the next 3-5 years. Talk about where you're at right now, and then go into, I'd like to grow my business, I'd like to expand. I'll give you an example of this was a nonprofit that receives grant dollars. The nonprofit, the way that their money comes in, it doesn't come in time to pay their employees with their payroll run. So they needed a line of credit to fill that void till the grants came in every month. The business owner, or the executive director that ran it, had me so, I'll just say it, in love with her mission and her company that I was already bought in. I didn't know anything about her business. I didn't know anything about her finances. I just knew that I loved the business and what she was trying to do. She had me. That's it. She hooked me. I'm in. And at that point, as a loan officer, I am going to do all in my power to help that business so they can receive that money. And some of you that you may be in construction, you may be in manufacturing, there's a lot of times that you have to buy supplies, you have to buy materials, and your customer is only giving you 50%. So you may need some money till you finish that job and you get paid. Same thing, it doesn't have to be a nonprofit. This is where you may need operating capital. So my biggest advice is just positive, pitch your business like you're just pitching that business that loan officer is going to invest in your company. And that is half the battle. And then, of course, you have to do the paperwork and you need to qualify for the loan. But that loan officer is going to be more invested in you and your company because they feel that they really understand what you're trying to accomplish. So with that, I just wanted to give it a little pitch about it. An important aspect to qualifying for a business loan has a lot to do with now your history, your credit score. So I'd like to now pitch this over to my colleague, Michael, and he will talk about the credit building aspect of a business loan.
Thank you, Maria. Good afternoon, everyone. In talking about access to credit, well, before I do that, let me say a little bit about myself as Leola is assisting with our slides. I am the Financial Empowerment Officer for Financial Access Credit Union, and it's my responsibility to manage our financial wellness platform. My responsibilities connect with Maria in the sense that sometimes business owners have financial statements, they have all of their underwriting criteria in place. Unfortunately, their personal credit is not at that level, at 620 that Maria, a minimum of 620 that Maria mentioned. And in those instances, the individuals are referred to me, and I work together with our members so they can increase or improve their credit score to the extent they will be able to qualify for a loan. And in working with people with credit, many people ask the question, well, why are credit scores so important? I have a great business idea. I'm passionate about my business. Why don't you believe in me? And oftentimes lenders, they believe in a different manner than business owners, and I'll explain. Business lenders' belief is based on your financial identity, and your financial identity enables them to determine how safe the loan opportunity is, extending a loan opportunity to you. Because as Maria said, a lender's primary goal in this financial transaction is to ensure that they're repaid. So your credit score is part of establishing a financial identity. And financial identity is used for more than just accessing business credit. It's also used for utilities, housing, employment, depending on what type of industry you're in, insurance, and automobiles. So it's essential that your financial identity is a positive one. But when we're talking about financial identity, please understand that your financial identity is not like your permanent identity. For example, most of us, I'm sure all of us, have a driver's license. On your driver's license, you'll see such identifying criteria as your eye color, hair color, race, your address, your date of birth. For the most part, your physical identity does not change. It remains the same. It's not the same in the case of your financial identity. Your credit score is simply a reflection of your history up to the present moment. And if you need to improve your credit score, it's possible to improve your credit score by understanding the different factors that are involved in generating a credit score. And as we proceed to the next slide, we will talk about those factors. So this slide is titled Solving the Credit Card Puzzle. Again, I work with so many different people, and they understand the concept of credit score, but they don't necessarily understand what factors are in play in determining the credit score. So if you'll look at the screen here, we have listed two different types of credit score factors. Now, most of us are probably familiar with the FICO score factors, which represents Fair Isaac Company. A more recently developed score factor is the Vantage score. Now, with each one of those factors, there are some similarities. The first similarity is they all have 5 types of factors. They have the payment history, amounts owed, length of credit history, new credit, and credit mix. Both draw credit report information from the 3 major credit bureaus. That's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Now, the score range for both is between 300 and 850. Now, the differences between each is that the Vantage score, the percentage weight that's assigned, if you'll direct your attention to the Vantage score chart, is 41, 20%, 20, 11, 6, and 2 respectively. While on the other side, the FICO score is 35% payment history, 30% amount owed, 15 length of credit, 10% new credit, and then 10% credit mix. Now, those weights are, again, factors in determining your credit score. So you are taking advantage of opportunities to access credit. It's essential that you have an opportunity to review your credit, to review your credit report, so that you can maximize those factors in your favor. And how we do that, we'll talk about that in the next screen. Here are some tips for maximizing your credit score. The first essential is payments. It is essential that you pay at least the minimum balance due consistently on time. I can't tell you how many times I've worked in coaching and counseling people about their credit score, and there have been situations that have arisen, financial challenges, and they felt that it was okay to pay half of the minimum monthly payment, or to pay a quarter of the monthly payment when due, or to skip a month and then double the payment the following month. Those type of actions have a negative impact on the payment history of your credit score. A lender, whether that be a business lender or a consumer lender, they are looking for you, the borrower, to maintain a consistent payment history. And if that payment history is not maintained, it has a tremendously negative impact on your credit score. The second factor is balances. Keep your balance significantly lower than the limit, at least 30% or less. Now, an example of this is, say, for instance, you have a credit card with a $1,000 balance. To maximize your credit score in the utilization factor, you would not want to, it's not recommended that you exceed a balance of $300 in that example, which would represent 30% of $1,000. Any balances in excess of 30% has a negative impact on your credit score. Next, old accounts. In different webinars and seminars I presented, I've been approached with this question: should I maintain a credit card account that I don't use, or a card that I don't use as much? Should I close that account and utilize new accounts to take advantage of points or cash back offers? And my response to that is, if you can maintain an old account, maintain that account. charge something insignificant to it, maybe gas, or maybe once a month buy your coffee at Starbucks or some other coffee house, Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin', and make a consistent minimum payment monthly. But if you maintain that account, it has a positive impact on your credit score. If you happen to close that account, it will impact your credit score negatively. Another action that we can take to build and maximize our credit score is limit the number of open accounts you have. Now, I know that may sound contrary to what I just said, but in this instance, people open multiple credit lines or trade lines, and in doing that, it causes a lender to look at them unfavorably, that they are in a dire financial situation, and that dire strait is causing them to open multiple accounts. So as a general rule of thumb, I normally recommend that a person have maybe up to a minimum of 3 credit card accounts and 2 installment accounts. That's a good mix depending on the length of your credit history. And finally, credit inquiries. It is definitely recommended that you limit the number of credit card applications made. In my experience, there are 2 types of people who may not understand the impact of credit inquiries. In one situation, I remember a seminar that I was presenting, and one of the participants shared that whenever she would go into Walmart or to Macy's or another retail organization, they would offer a certain discount or cash off of the current purchase if they submitted a credit card application. And I advised her that each time she does that, it has a negative impact on your credit score. And those inquiries remain on your credit report with an impact on your credit score for up to 2 years. I've also encountered business owners who have applied for credit at multiple lenders with multiple lenders. That is not advisable as well, simply because the more applications that you submit, it too has a negative impact on your credit score. So these 5 basic actions are tips that you can use to maximize your credit score. As we go to the next screen, we'll talk about a product that we offer, but before I do that, I want to share about Credit Karma. Many of us are familiar with Credit Karma. They're very popular, and they offer services for building your credit and having access to your credit report. Now, there are some pros and cons about Credit Karma before I share a little bit with you about our credit score product. With Credit Karma, the pro is you do have access to your credit score from TransUnion and Equifax. There's also a means for accessing your credit report on a weekly basis. They also analyze your data and your credit profile. Now, one major con of Credit Karma is they offer product recommendations based on the data that you provide, and they submit that to banks and lenders. Now, the reason I list that as a con is there are some people who are interested in rebuilding their credit or building credit, and financial or credit literacy is an important component in understanding the ongoing steps that are necessary to build or gain access to credit. And if an individual who has limited financial literacy, they're being pitched, for lack of a better term, these credit products, credit cards, they, because of their limited financial literacy, it proves to be their undoing when applying for business credit or other types of long-term credit like mortgages or automobile loans. Now, with the slide you have on your screen, our credit score product, this is something that we offer. It does provide some of the same services, actually the same services as Credit Karma, but we offer daily updates to your credit score. We also include a score simulator, and how that works, it allows you to enter in hypothetical actions that you would take. Say, for example, if you skip the monthly payment or if you open an additional credit card, the simulator will give you an estimate of the impact on your credit score. Another benefit of our service is your information is not shared with an outside third party. That information is maintained at the credit union. So with Credit Score, this product is free to members, to our business members, and it enables them to place the monitoring of their credit on an automated basis. So in other words, you can set up alerts that will alert you of certain actions that you may or may not have taken that have an impact on your credit score. It also gives you an assessment of those 5 categories, those scoring factors that I mentioned earlier, and it assigns a letter grade, A, B, C, D, or F. And Credit Score provides tips and suggestions that you can take so that you can improve that credit score. And finally, with the credit union, we also offer credit coaching, credit counseling. Part of my role is to connect our members with members of our counseling and coaching staff. So if you need a little bit more hands-on support, then we have that option available as well. And that option is also free to members. So in closing, with my presentation on Credit Score, Maria mentioned something earlier in her presentation about belief. And belief is important. A business owner needs a belief and a passion for their business when they are pitching a lender, but they also need a belief in themselves that they can take the necessary steps to improve their credit, because a higher credit score allows the business owner to receive favorable terms, lower interest rate, and the process is that much easier. So I would like to, on behalf of my colleague Maria, I'd like to thank you all for participating in our webinar today. And again, as she mentioned at the onset, if you have any questions, please place those in the chat. Our contact information is listed on the screen for your use. Those numbers reach us directly, and our email address is included. And again, we thank you so much on behalf of Financial Access Federal Credit Union for taking part in this webinar today. How to go getting from heck no to maybe so to yes. Thank you.
Oh, I loved that information. That was great. I did have one question that I thought of when you were presenting about when you were talking about credit cards and having, possibly 3 of those open. And then you said in 2 installment accounts. I didn't know what an installment account was.
Sure. Installment account is an example of an installment account would be an automobile loan, a personal loan, a mortgage where the payments are fixed and you make monthly payments the same fixed amount for a certain period of time, for a certain term. In the case of a mortgage, it could be anywhere from 30 to 40 years. From an automobile, anywhere from 5 to 7 years. And the minimum payment does not change. And what a lender is doing is they are evaluating how you handle different types of credit. Because with a credit card, the balance can fluctuate up or down. With an installment loan, it's a matter of consistency. Are you consistently faithful in making that payment timely? And so when looking at both types of credit, installment, and it's called revolving credit, it gives the lender a better picture of your financial credit identity.
Excellent answer. I guess I'd never thought of it like that. One of my friends is currently going for his first house loan, and I can't believe how valuable this information is going to be. So I was texting him. I said, I need your email address. I'm sending you this video. You are going to love this. We do have a question in the chat box. Do you use a combination of Vantage and FICO credit scores in making credit decisioning?
I believe Maria answered that. Maria, if you could audibly respond.
Yeah, so when we are making decisions for a business loan, we use TransUnion. Our underwriting platform uses the Vantage score. So that is where they may get a score that may be a little bit lower, and we'll look at our score. And that sometimes we've had somebody apply for a loan and they didn't make the 620 score with the underwriting platform, but we're able to look at it and we will make our decision based on the TransUnion score. And the TransUnion score is what the platform that Michael was talking about, our credit score that you will see on your electronic device is TransUnion. So very, very clearly, if that says that you have a 650 score, when we pull your credit, it's going to be a 650. We wanted the credit scores to be the same.
I just realized that on my credit card app on my phone, it had my credit score right in the middle of the screen, and that was news to me. It was actually a little better than I thought, but it wasn't fantastic.
Yeah, but that helps knowing, because if you think about it, that you're going to apply for a business loan, but you start having the conversation with the loan officer and you talk about your situation, at that time, you may want to pay down a couple credit cards or restructure the debt before we actually put together the business application. So we can ensure, if you've done the few things that you need to do, that your credit score is going to be higher for the business loan. So that's why it's important to understand where you are, because personally, for a business loan, you're going to be responsible for that loan. You're the guarantor of that loan.
And just to piggyback on top of what Maria said, it is wise if a business owner is interested in securing business credit to actually look at his or her own personal credit scores first, just to ensure that they meet at least the minimum threshold. And then if they are able, if they're willing, they can take necessary steps utilizing those tips I suggested or utilizing our credit score product to increase their credit score, which will subsequently increase the likelihood, all other factors considered, in being approved for the loan.
I have another question. Is my business credit and my personal credit linked in any way? And does my personal credit help? And you may have just touched upon that, but I guess that's a question. I always kind of think it's only my personal credit. I didn't even know if my business really does have credit.
So if you've been an established business, you will, and you've gotten credit under your business and your federal ID number, you will have a business credit score. For our business loans, we typically, it's either a sole corporation or we have an LLC. Those are based on your personal credit score because you are guaranteeing the loan. So they're going to look at both They're going to look at your personal credit score, and they're going to look, if you have a business credit score, it's going to come up on the business platform, your business credit. When it goes through the underwriting, they will pull based on your social security number and also your federal ID number. So it'll be both. They're going to look at both of them. But just understand, personally, you are personally liable to pay that loan back. And there was another question regarding the AI. Our underwriting platform does not use the AI, artificial intelligence, or the what we do is based on the information you provide. It's based on your credit score. It's based on the financial statements that you provide, what your business. It's based on your tax returns. So it is based on actual data and finances that you provide to our underwriter.
Great. In the Q&A, I have another question. It says, in working with the SBA or the Small Business Administration in developing all of our business documents, need operating loan for marketing and advertising. When requesting business loans, can the amounts distributed over different quarters? It says, say 1/3, and then in the 4th month, another 1/3, and in the 8th month, the final amount. That was in the Q&A in case I didn't word it quite right.
And I'm not seeing it in the Q&A. Is it up higher?
Right next to the chat box. So I'll try to say it one more time. It says, in working with the SBA and developing all of our business documents, the need for operating loan for marketing / advertising. When requesting the business loan, can the amounts be distributed over different quarters?
So we do not do SBA loans currently. We have partners that they do the business loans. So I do not know the answer how SBA would handle getting this. If it's a line of credit, if it's set up like a line of credit, you can do that distribution over that. But I have to be honest, I do not know the answer to that.
Okay. Thank you. And that was all I had in the question and answers. If anybody else does have anything, you can go ahead and type those into, let's see, just double checking. Oh, I'm double checking in chat. I think I do. There's a couple things in chat. How long must you be in business before seeking a business loan?
1 year.
Perfect. And what are your partners who do SBA lending? Does your federal credit union have any partners that do SBA lending?
We do, and I can provide you with a list of other partners that do the SBA loans. Many times, a lot of our community banks participate in providing those. I do believe that Achieva Credit Union, I believe that they do SBA loans. But I can provide a list when they're going to send this packet. But I'm sure that our SCORE partners probably have a list of our SBA lenders.
Yes, we could also on the, I'm just trying to figure our web address that I have listed at the end of the slides. You can visit the Minnesota division and also get some information on banking that could be SBA providers. Oh, and then I just thought I had something in Q&A, but it was the same question in the Q&A. So let's see, there's that one. All right. Oop, I flipped through too many. So there we are at, you can check our website at score.org/Minnesota for other SBA information or bank lending partners. And I just wanted to thank everybody for attending today's video presentation. I will be sending out a survey so you can let us know what we can do to improve or other topics that you may be interested in. Thank you so much, Michael and Maria. So informational.
My
Like I
pleasure.
said, I can't wait to forward this to my friend. Answers all those questions I did not know the answers to. And everybody have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.